Hi chaps, SimOP here from Beard, Biceps and Batchat. Today I'm bringing you some gameplay in my T-54 and a Tier 9 match, well, maybe Tier 8 as well, on Runeberg. Now before I get into the game, I just want to do a little bit of a thank you to WG. They had one of my YouTube videos, my T-3488 video on their website. I have no idea how you found it or where you saw it, but thank you very much for having it. It was greatly appreciated. So I'm going to be playing this match a little bit differently than I normally would in T-54. Normally I do a lot of fairly active scouting early game just because of the characteristics of the tank. It allows you to get in forward positions quite early on, take advantage of the crew that I have in there, which has good view range, it's got situational awareness and recon. What I'm going to look to do instead is just to be a bit of a pain in the arse more than anything else. Ideally, what I want to do is conserve my HP to the late game. The reason being, I'm top tier in the game. Their top tiers are an E75, two other T-54s. So I want to make sure I'm able to perform in the late game as well. And I've got a little bit of HP to play with. So rather than being aggressive, what I'm looking to do at the minute is to try and pin down their advance going up the diagonal left line from their 2 spawn. Hopefully just to pin them in place so there can be a bit of coordinated fire from the rest of the team, which will just slow their initial deployment up and just allow us to end up in more advantageous positions, which should help us in the mid to late game. Now I've noticed we've deployed quite strongly on our right hand flank down the BCD line, and we don't have much view range. We've got a big hole in our left hand flank down the G, H, J and K line. So what I want to do is just to utilise the view range on my tank, help this boy who's hanging out over there on his Todd, the heavy Kojalaka, just so we have some visibility on what's pushing down there to make sure we don't get any nasty surprises. So we spotted the IS-3, there's a Tiger 2, there's a KB down there, there's also a Borsig down there. So they've got about 1/3 of the team, so quite a strong presence, whereas we only have the heavy and myself there. So what I need to do here is just to make sure they're not pushing across and sort of putting pressure on us from our our left hand flank, their right hand flank. So with that, what I really need to be doing is taking snapshots more than anything else and just aiming for tracks. I need to make sure when I'm shooting them, I'm exposing them in the open. Not even so much the rest of our team can hit them, because not a lot of people are, but that they could hit them. So it just makes them think twice about pushing too hard. Now watching this replay back, one of the things I've noticed is I'm not actually utilising the view range that I have to the best of its ability. So when I'm shooting, I'm getting spotted. Now that's a bit of a problem, because realistically I can push back to about 425, 440 meters, shoot and not get spotted. At this moment in time I'm too close, I'm at 257, so I can afford to pull back. I can keep them all spotted because of the view range on the crew without being spotted back. I'm using this ridge line just to sort of deflect the worst of the incoming shots coming at me. I'm getting a little bit lucky with bounces as well. So I'm sort of trying to pull back here just to reposition, but I'm running out of room on the map. There's the old black and white line that's keeping me there. What I particularly want to do here is take out that Borsig. Now that Borsig could be a nightmare if it gets a position. This was before the nerf, I think. No, it was after the nerf. Even so, the camo on it is very, very good. So once it's in position and shooting, unless we're quite close, it's going to be an absolute nightmare to spot it. So the quicker we take it out, the better it is for the... So for the rest of the team, we've still contained their middle push up the up the diagonal from their 2 spawn. The heavies haven't managed to push out and put a lot of pressure on us, and we're actually making a push down the DE diagonal from their 1 spawn. We've got our heavy and TD that are pushing quite aggressively. Again, that's just going to put a little bit more pressure on them. They've not really got any sort of way to push except for pushing down our left hand flank where me and the heavy are. Now I'd love to say what I'm doing now has some sort of tactical advantage, realistically, I got bored just doing a bit of ridgeline play. I thought the IS-3 is low health. I reckon I can get at least one shot into him, potentially a second before he turns his turret. There we go. And what I'm going to look to do is just to make a bit more of a nuisance of myself. Now, that IS-3 can't afford to engage me because he doesn't have enough HP. But what I'd want to do is not go for that IS-3. I actually want to keep making sure I'm getting shots on that Tiger 2. So I'm currently spotted at the minute. Every time I keep pushing forward to that IS-3, his turret's going to turn to face me, but I have no intention of going out around that building. So his gun is literally rendered completely ineffective because he has to worry about me coming round, even if I'm not actually going to do it. So I'm actually tying up two people at the same time. And because my reload's so much better than that Tiger 2 by about 3 and a bit seconds, I don't have to worry too much about retaliation from either the IS-3 or the Tiger 2. Unless they're in a platoon, they're not going to do a coordinated push on me. So I decide at this point I fancy that Tiger 2. Then I notice he has a mate, that KV-13. Now that KV-13 is grossly underpowered compared to the T-54 that I'm in. So I have bounced a lot of shots on that Tiger 2. I'm surprised I haven't switched to premium, to be honest with you. But the big problem I've got is, although I'm a couple of tiers higher than the KV-13, he can whittle away at my health while I'm dealing with the Tiger 2. But I very much need to deal with the Tiger 2 there. So I'm taking shots from KV-13, Tiger 2, a tank behind me, and they've got a T-54 that's pushed up. So I'm going to keep that building between me and the Tiger 2 and the T-54, and I'm going to look to use this tank in front of me to conserve my HP while I deal with this KV-13. Although I'll deal with him, he could potentially still carry on chipping away at my HP before I destroy him. I just don't have enough HP to play with. We've got the T-54 who snuck round the corner. Again, I'm going to use this rubble just to conserve my HP so he doesn't take me out too much. A Tiger 2 shooting me. I get a little bit lucky, someone helps me out and takes him out. But what I really need to do at this point is get a bead on the T-54 before he shoots me. Now I get a little bit lucky and this cheeky little chap decides he doesn't want to kill me. I'm not worth his time. I'm only a one hit after all. And I just follow him out until he gets destroyed by everyone else. Now it's not too bad a game. I reckon we get about 4,500, 5,000 combined damage, 11 penetrating hits, 2 dead tanks and 7 tracked. So not a bad game by any account, but it's more just to show how to utilise your view range on a flank that doesn't have any view. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, or at least laughed. Please like and subscribe.